Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. It is about 11 a.m. Pacific time on the 21st of March. So happy spring equinox. It was yesterday. You wouldn't know it by how much snow has fallen here overnight, but I digress. I want to welcome you to the show if you're listening in any way. So you can, of course, listen via radio, and some of you are. You can watch this live stream if you go over to YouTube or Facebook and search for Katie Weaver, Domestic Mystic. You are welcome to come and watch. And you can find me in the chat room. And you can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number one, number two, radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. And you'll see my banner there and other people chatting. That's the way to do it. So that is what's up. Also, if you are leaving comments in either of the live streams, I also have those funneled into me. So any way you slice it, you can find me. So that's what's up. And I hope that you guys are all well. I hope that your weather is nice. We've melted a lot of snow and now we're getting more, but it's warm. So we're kind of getting snow and then rain and like it's still knocking the snow down. It just doesn't look like it when you get up in the morning. And I have had a day, ladies and gentlemen. So, as you know, along with all of the work that I do here in the 1-2 world, I am a true crime podcaster. And Christy and I have been diligently following and reporting on the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case because it happened in my town. And there's a lot about this case, that you probably have heard about from me in the past. But the cases were severed last week, 2 weeks ago, and they're getting ready to go to trial. Lori's going to trial here starting trial next week for jury selection. And because of all of that going on, we have been back to court multiple times to witness, court proceedings. They were, because of COVID, they were streamed online for a couple of years. And that was really nice for us because we would just lock into the stream, but now they're not, and the judge has gotten very uncomfortable about cameras in the courtroom, and so we've been going. Every time there's court, we've been driving to St. Anthony, which is a town about 20 minutes from where I live, and going to court. So they had court this morning. This was the last hearing before the trial starts next week. And the trial, however, has been moved. It's moved to Ada County, which is the Boise, Idaho area, which is about 4 hours from where I live. So that's a whole different hardship and ball of wax. But at any rate, that's what's happening. So here we are with the last hearing today. But I have to tell you what happened last week. Oh my God, you guys. Last Wednesday, there was court. You're allowed to have your phone and your laptop. Your phone has to be silenced. And the week before that, we saw a reporter that had forgotten to silence her phone and it rang and they confiscated it. She couldn't have it back until the hearing was over. So we're really, really careful to silence our phones. So I was live tweeting, which basically means I was just tweeting out as many updates as I possibly could. And Christy was live booking, in our Facebook group, throwing out all the deets. So, we were both hard at work. But you cannot record anything, you can't take any pictures, you can't voice record anything. Like they're strict, they have lots of rules and they're from the judge. Like, you don't break the rules. So I'm tweeting away and suddenly the judge just kind of stammers like mid sentence in something he was saying to the defense and went, "Oh, yeah, but someone's pointing their phone at me. Someone's recording me." So we all kind of look around because there were only 10 of us in attendance. And there's two deputies that walk up and down the aisles and keep a close eye on what you're doing. So we all kind of look around and I realize he's pointing at me. I was like, "Oh no." what what are you supposed to do in this instance? Are you allowed to talk? What So I held my phone up and I said, "Twitter. I'm just tweeting." and he ordered the bailiff to come over and inspect my phone, which he did. And I showed him. I was literally mid-tweet, and I said, "I'm just tweeting." And he looked at it and he goes, "Oh, no, judge. She's just tweeting." Thank God. And the judge said, "Oh, okay. Well, thanks for following the rules." But he was super ruffled. It was crazy. But what we learned is that this judge and prosecutor have been getting death threats. And so I think they're just very on edge. But anyway, yeah, that was a little that shook me up a teeny bit. Nobody wants to go to court and get in trouble with the judge, especially when you have nothing to do with it. You're literally just there watching. The One Two Radio app and One Two Radio are playing music intermittently. There's static going off and on. There is nothing I can do about it, Tiffany. I don't know. It does that sometimes, and there doesn't seem to be a remedy. So sorry about that. That sucks. Yeah. Well, I am on the live stream, however, so that might be better. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's how I got in trouble at court. So this week, we were pretty determined to not get in trouble at court. So we didn't sit right in the judge's eye line. We sat away from the judge's eye line. Anyway, but the big news is, and the only reason I'm talking about it really, except for I wanted to tell you about how I got in trouble in court because I think it's pretty funny actually. But anyway, but the big news is that the death penalty has been taken off the table. So Lori Vallow will not be considered for the death penalty. And the reason why is because the prosecution screwed up with some evidence that they didn't turn over correctly. And so, yeah, Lori will not be getting the death penalty. Yep. Some people are very upset about it. Some people are super concerned. A lot of people aren't really quite understanding why that's happening. Honestly, I'm good with it. I think it's a good decision. I mean, he was down to two choices, and one was to either dismiss the case and let the jury or the prosecution start all over, or to take the death penalty off the table. This lowers the threshold for appeal. It shortens the trial by 2 or 3 weeks. It takes the penalty phase completely off the table because the judge now will be able to issue her penalty rather than to sentence her, rather than having to have a jury trial do it. Honestly, for the victims' families, this may be a lot easier on them. Because here's the thing, Idaho has never executed a woman. There's a woman that's been on death row in Idaho for 30 years. They've never done it. Lori was never going to be executed, even if she received the death penalty. I think this is right. I wish they'd done it a long time ago. It would have taken a lot of complications off the table that have taken this long to accomplish. But anyway, that's what's up with that. Not that you came here for true crime, but you got to know that's where my headspace is because I've had quite the morning. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. That's what's up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, women should be executed as well as men. Right. I mean, it's an interesting thing. Some states, Texas is very equal opportunity when it comes to executions, but I don't know. To be honest, I'm pretty anti-death penalty. I didn't used to be, but the more true crime I do, the more I realize how many problems there are with it. And the more people that we see get exonerated through evidence, the more I worry about how many people, or, through like old cases that through DNA evidence now have been exonerated. It really makes me not want to see the death penalty anymore. But Idaho, the other there's a lot of problems with the death penalty. Besides the fact that it's extremely expensive and time consuming, and there are so many appeals, but also drug manufacturers don't want their drugs to be used for the death penalty, and a lot of them have stopped selling their drugs to departments of justice, and so a lot of states have been unable to even do it. And that's another reason. And so people are sitting on death row forever, or they're doing it anyway and violating the Constitution because you can't. The law is you can't execute someone through means that cause cruel and unusual punishment. Basically, you can't execute in ways that cause suffering. And, yes, I know a lot of people caused suffering and so but that's the Constitution. That's what the Constitution says. And so because all of these states moved to lethal injection, now lethal injection has become very difficult to do. States are either violating uh, the Constitution to carry through with them. They're getting drugs in unscrupulous ways. Idaho got busted doing that a few years ago, or they're doing something else. So anyway, yeah, that's all. I could talk about that for 30 minutes. You probably don't want to hear it, but 'cause there's a lot. There's a lot. But anyway, it's fine. Anyhow, so that's what's up with me. I did put a link in the chat room for you guys that are struggling with radio so that you can just come join me on the live stream because I'm not sure why this is happening, but there's not a thing I can do to fix it. So, yeah, sorry about that, you guys. It's one challenge when that starts. I could try closing it and bringing it back in, but I don't know. I'll try that. I'll try to disconnect. All right, so I disconnected and reconnected radio just to see if that would make any difference. So maybe it will. Hopefully, it will. Anyway, there's a lot to talk about. I hope that you guys are well. Uh, how is the summer solstice energy hitting you? It appeared to me that there was a lot of chaotic energy and anxious energy last week as we built up to the summer solstice or the spring equinox, which I thought was interesting and kind of curious. And it made me wonder how many people are still feeling that or if that has lifted for you. I anticipate that will lift this week as we move a little bit further into this new energy. It seemed to be a real anxious parting of ways with the winter solstice energy. And I think part of it is that the winter solstice is such a sleepy energy, you know? It usually kind of tamps things down and slows us down. And I wondered if, as the summer or the spring equinox energy was building, if that was kind of creating a space where we were feeling anxious and uncomfortable in our skin, or why that was happening. So I'm curious to know how you guys are feeling now, how you were feeling leading up. Hey, Sharon, and you know, how things feel for you. I'm curious. In the meantime, let's go and talk about Luminous. I put links in the chat room and I'm going to share my screen here. There's a few things there I want to share. Hey, Robin. Let's see. There we go. All right. Well, kind of a magical cover this week. Oh, so on Sunday, we went to a drag brunch and it was so fun. So in my state, like lots of others right now, there's a lot of attacks on the drag community, like legislatively and with different groups. And I don't really understand it. I've been to a billion drag shows. People are so concerned about kids going to drag shows. My kids have gone to a lot of drag shows. They're just fun. But I took them to family events. I mean, sure, some drag shows are not for families, and I wouldn't take my kids to one that wasn't for families, but overall, I mean, it's like anything, like going to a PG-13 movie versus a G-rated movie, But anyway, so in our community, there's been a big push right now to support the queens because they are so beat up and also have had some very scary uh protesters with AKs and acting scary, and it's scary, it sucks, it's awful. So anyway, there was a drag brunch, in our area that we went to, Christy and Rhonda and I went to on Sunday morning, and it was so much fun. It's a place that's this fancy little soup market, and their soup, my god. They have, like, 7 different fancy soups every day and their breads, and they're amazing. But they hosted it, and so they serve breakfast, which is something they don't normally do, but, oh, they knocked it out of the park. Fabulous food. The performances were a lot of fun, where it was just in a restaurant. They basically just performed kind of like up and down in between the tables, and I did get whipped pretty good in the side of the head with somebody's big feather boa uh, lace sleeve at one point. I was fine. It was fabulous. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. I loved it. We had a ball. It was nice to see old friends there that we haven't seen in a while. Nice to support some of the queens that we know and some of the kings. There was actually 2 kings there too. And it was a ball. And I loved it. So that was nice. We haven't done something like that in a while. I'm still I'm still not out of COVID head. For some reason, we're still moving pretty slow into going into public stuff. Well, not for some reason. I think probably a pretty good reason, but anyway. But anyhow, so that was pretty cool. I called this edition the Snap Out of It edition, a nod to Moonstruck, because it is time to come back. Time to get grounded, time to snap out of this weird fog we had last week and get back to business. And I feel like we all just need a moment to do that. And we are going to do some energy work today to kind of help work on that as well, because it seems like we could use it. The whole world feels kind of jittery right now, jittery and uncomfortable. All right. So, because a lot of you guys I've talked to recently are feeling ungrounded and anxious, this is an infographic that helps you to ground and center. It's also a good technique for anxiety, so either way, but it helps you to become present by exploring the five senses. So, when you are feeling very out of your body, uncomfortable in your skin, ungrounded, all that energy in your head, consider seeking out five things you can see. This is just a head game, pointing out to yourself, looking at five things around you can see, four things you can touch, and taking a minute to explore that, like the texture, the temperature, the feel, the hand feel, the energy of it, and whatever you want, but examining, exploring four things you can touch, three things you can hear. Because when you get in that space, a lot of times all you can hear is that anxiety. And so considering three things you can hear. And then two things you can smell. Smelling things is a quick way to ground. So, two things you can smell, maybe an essential oil, maybe your dog, or yourself, or your laundry, or the flower on the table, or whatever. But two things you can smell. And then one thing you can taste. Eating and drinking can be very grounding. I know I've shared this before, but one thing that a lot of empaths experience, especially ones that work like an 8 to 5 job in an office, but not necessarily that, in general, empaths feel around 3 o'clock or so, a lot of times are done, right? You are fried out by everybody else's energy and your own. And this is when empaths will start reaching for carbs, coffee, if you smoke a cigarette, anything that you can put in your mouth because it helps you to ground. So if you know that about yourself, you can be prepared to have something to put in your mouth that is at least good for you. However, I will always, always propose that chocolate is the best way to ground that I know of. Unless you can't do chocolate, then do something else. But I think chocolate, particularly dark chocolate, is an amazing way to ground. Back when I had my center, I actually kept Dove dark chocolate in my desk in my office for that purpose. So that if I had a client that we went really far out of body with, like for a past life regression or a life review, things like that, I would have that to help them to ground once we came back from that experience, and also to help me to ground because it takes me as far out as it takes you. And so, considering why you reach for what you do in the afternoons, I think just helps you to manage your own health and also to give yourself something because you are probably reaching for something to help yourself to get grounded and centered. Okay. If you have not read Bitch Scopes this week, what are you even doing with your life? Kelly hit it out of the park this week. Scopes are so good, so complete, so long, and awesome. I can't say enough about them. She has got so much information here, and I wanted to share this beginning because this is so accurate to what my clients have been experiencing and friends and family too. I heard from many friends and clients about feeling kind of emotionally strung out, weepy, angry, clumsy, and a variety of weirdness and unusual events. Yep, that checks out. With so many moving parts, and some of the parts that are doing new things for the first time in years, things are bound to need some adjustment periods. Oh, well, sing it, sister. That's where we are, for sure. Kelly knows. And she goes on to discuss a lot of those moving parts and what they're doing and why. And it's a good opportunity to help us understand why things are going down the way they are. So, really, really good. But I wanted to just read one scope. So, let me scroll down to that. Let's see. I told you, complete, man. You've got to get a drink, get comfy, and read through this entire essay because it is so freaking good. All right. Who are we reading today? Virgo. All right, fine, Virgo. The new moon will take place in your eighth house, indicating you are needing to deal with financial matters and how you use the resources that others provide. Intimate relationships are likely to get deep or deeper as a result of this moon. Pay attention to what comes up between now and April 19th. Pluto is leaving your fifth house and entering your sixth to give you a taste of what control over your schedule looks and feels like. Ooh, you know what brings you joy. Pluto has been in your fifth house for years, so now you can incorporate it into your daily life. Mars in Cancer transits your 11th house, and after having been in your career house for months, if you're not exhausted, Mars will invite you to collaborate and dream big using what you learned over the last 7 months. Things are likely to take a turn for the better over the next few weeks. Damn. Do we all want to be a Virgo right now? Maybe so. Be sure you read your scope. And then go tell her how awesome her scopes are. I think she needs to hear it. She deserves to hear it, by God. She works hard. My tip of the week. It's been a long, hard winter. Don't forget to feed the birds. We have quite the event going on in my yard right now because, pardon me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll mute that next time. Uh, the crows are back, but we still have a ton of snow. This is not normal for them. We should be at spring, early spring. There should be food. There's not. Not just for them, for a lot of birds. I have this big flock of little blackbirds and these other little brown, I don't even know what they are, birds that are all, and then all my magpies that have been here all winter that are all battling, and a bunch of stray cats that are all battling for the food that I put out for the crows. I do feed the magpies in the backyard. I feed them all winter long. So that food is out too, but um there's a lot of battles going on at the feeder. There's a lot of hungry, desperate birds. And so I have upped my feeding quite a bit. And today, actually, we're going to go buy a second feeder, put it in a different place in the yard, and put different food in it. Because the food that I've been putting in it, I'm putting peanuts and cat food because that's what the crows like. I have all these little birds fighting over that food. And it's not really the right food for them at all. But the birds are desperate. And I know you guys don't all live where I live. I know you don't all live where the weather is still shit and shouldn't be. However, it has been a weird, uncommon winter for almost all of us. And so this is my reminder. Don't forget to feed the birds. Put out water for them if you are getting unseasonably hot. I know actually some of you have. But don't forget to feed the birds. The way the climate is changing is really affecting their migratory patterns. It's affecting their ability to get food where they think they should be able to get it and historically have been able to get it. And so we need to be thinking about them and about the wildlife at large because life is topsy turvy for them too. So that's what you've got to think about. Yeah. Okay. So that's my soapbox. Christy's energy exercise this week is her Shakti manifesting. Always a good thing. It's always the right time to manifest, right? It's always a good time to manifest. Ginger cracks me up. So she and we communicate via Facebook typically. And the other day, I sent her a link that wasn't meant for her. It was meant for my husband. It was just a picture of a denim jacket that was embroidered on because he's embroidering some jackets. But I didn't realize I sent it to her. And then she wrote me back and we had a laugh about it because, why did I send her this random link? But her article this week was all flowers. So we decided it was just meant for her after all. Luckily, it was only that, right? I'm typically the problem. I know this. Let's read one scope. Let's do Gemini. So she says, "Hi, Gemini. Your flower for the week is a rose. The angels and guides say to do what you love, so follow your passion. They say that when you do so, love and affection will filter into all areas of your life." Very sweet scopes. I love them. And Cancer got daisies, and well, we loved that. All righty. Anita brings us Archangel Metatron, and there is a brand new video from Jamie Dawn as well. So be sure to check that out. And there you have it. That is Luminous this week. So, as always, thank you to everybody who contributes to Luminous. I always appreciate the help and for everybody coming to read it and check it out as well. Okay. I wanted to do some energy work or some kind of. I wanted to do some sound therapy. I feel like we could really use it. So, but I was going to drum and I'm not sure I have my ballot. I thought it was right here. Hmm. All right. Well, I don't want to use the wrong mallet and damage my drum. That would be silly. So we'll do singing bowls instead. How's that? I know. Some of you guys, the drum is a little hard on you anyway. So maybe all is well. Maybe it was supposed to be singing bowls. This is my heart bowl, but we're actually going to use it just as a general bowl. One thing I've seen in energy work recently with a lot of you guys is that you are slimed. All of you empaths have been so slimed by people around you, by worries around you. Here in the US, I mean, we're typically, you know, uh, a mess, when it comes to politics and public policy and being polarized. And, you guys know all the things. I don't have to tell you. But if you follow that stuff at all, you know that this is another very explosive week. We're a hot mess. And then, of course, you take a look at the other things going on in the world, the war in Ukraine. Putin, the International Court issued an arrest warrant this week for Putin for crimes against humanity, this time for the kidnapping and trafficking of children. Uh, it kills my heart, this stuff. And that doesn't mean I'm stepping away from it because we have to know what's happening. We have to witness this. But thinking about the Ukrainian children and what has happened to them and what have been and are still going through, oh dear God, it's just so much. But at any rate, there's just a lot going on, you know? And to add to it, if you've been feeling weird and off, so has everybody else around you. And some of those people may not manage their energy as well as you do and may have thrown a lot of it, well, all over you. like the judge did to me last week. Just kidding. I'm never getting over this. I think it's obvious. I know. It's dumb. But I'm never gonna forget the time that I got in trouble in court. I won't. It's fine. It's probably fine. All right. Well, let's do a bowl. So I'm going to play the bowl, and the first intention here is to just allow the frequency of the singing bowl to clear away, to remove anything you're carrying that no longer serves you. That's it. Everybody else's stuff. Everybody else. No, no. We're going to do something different. We're going to use the bowl. I'm going to put it away for a minute. I'm realizing that this is wrong. We're going to use a different path forward because when you guys call me on the lines and you feel like this, we do a Merkaba clearing first. And I've done this on the show before, and I think it's pretty effective. So we're going to do a group Merkaba clearing. We'll still use the bowl to zhuzh things up when we're done. But let's do a Merkaba clearing first. So all you have to do is just sit and hold space with me. I'm going to put some commands in place. Just allow me to do this work for you. And all you have to do is hold space with me. Okay? So close your eyes. We're going to start at your feet, commanding a Merkaba clearing. Commanding billions of many points of light to flood your system now, completely healing, clearing, and releasing any energy that you're carrying that no longer serves you, any energy that you're carrying that is not yours, any cords, connections, psychic attacks, psychic debris, attachments, thought form attachments, or any other energetic influence that could be holding you back or holding you down now. Commanding these frequencies to be healed and cleared and rendered neutral and inert in all directions of time now through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now. And again, we started at your feet, so we're going to keep working towards your head. If you could see it, it looks like billions of little tiny blue vortexes racing through every cell, every layer, every fiber, doing their work. You may experience some discomfort in various parts of your body as we move forward, but that'll clear as we get there. All right, moving up through the root now and into the sacral. Allowing sacred geometry to do the work while we hold space, moving on into the solar plexus, releasing some tension here from your low back and from your gut. And moving on up into your heart, releasing some tension from between your shoulder blades, opening up your chest, letting go here of hurts, grief, anger, shields, the need to protect. Good deep breath here and moving on up into your high heart. This is where lots of little cords, thought form attachments, and things like that form. We're going to let all of them be swept away, cleared out of your space. Good. And up into your throat. Good clearing here. clearing and releasing anything in your throat that isn't serving your highest and best good. Nice release in your jaw and the back of your neck. And then balancing that third eye and up into your crown. And now going back to your feet and commanding a Merkaba blessing, commanding billions of many points of light to flood your system now, completely shifting your frequency to a place of peace, to a place of balance, to a place of joy, and to a place of confidence. Commanding these frequencies to shift through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now. And we'll just watch that move through you. The blessing is always much faster than the clearing. All right, now moving clear through you to the top of your head. Deep breath. Good. Okay. So, with that piece done, let's go ahead and pull up a singing bowl. So, I'm going to play the bowl. While I do so, what I'd like you to do is focus on your heart. I would like you to allow a ball of white light to emanate from your heart. And as I play the bowl, get bigger and bigger and bigger until it has fully encompassed you, completely filled you up with love, with light from the universe. Here we go. Good. Good. Good work. Okay. So there you go. Okay. I don't know why the singing bowl. It's like my filters are filtering it out like they didn't used to or something. It's weird. Looks like we have a troll in the chat, so let me get rid of them. Okay, I think I got them. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Let me run over to the other chat room quickly. I don't know if radio ever improved or not, so I'm not sure how much good we're doing over there anyway. But Rebecca said she's a Virgo and life has been rough, so thank God. Kelly says things are going to get better. Absolutely. Okay. Rebecca said she hurt her shoulder a few days ago. Oh, didn't think it was connected to spring equinox and astrology, but that makes sense. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope that gets better. Yeah. Laura would love a message and some energy work if there is time. I believe there is. We should have some time here for some readings and whatnot. You are so willing. You're so welcome, Liliane. Absolutely. Yeah, we all needed a little help there, huh? Yeah, for sure. Okay, Laura, let's take a peek. Feeling so tired, Laura. Okay. Well, hopefully that clearing actually did you a good piece of work too, because again, weighed down by the weight of the world and other people and all that jazz for sure. But I want to pull you a card actually. So let's use the crow cards. Those new crow cards that I got are so cool. And I feel like we just can't use them enough. So I'm going to let that work we just did, Laura, stand as some energy work today, but I'll pull you a card. So, and by the way, this, of course, you can always go back and watch the videos anyway, but I will post the archive over in 1-2 Radio so that you can always go back and listen to this show too. And you could always pull that clearing up. I also do clearings like that over at 12listen.com every day. So if you feel like you could use more individualized work and a deeper dive, come over there and see me, and we'll really get into your very specific stuff, all of you, and we'll work on it together. Because I think that, for the spring equinox, one of the big messages is space clearing, clearing out the old, getting rid of, putting away your Christmas decorations if you haven't, or, just clearing out, right? Clearing all the cobwebs out from the winter. But how can that not also apply to your spirit, to your body? So I think doing some good clearing work right now is actually really brilliant. All right, Laura. Okay, the card is scavenge. Remember, these are the crow cards. So how does this apply to you? I'm looking at the searching. Crows to scavenge, they have to be brave. They have to be curious. They have to keep an eye out for things that interest them. And I think that's where it's at with you. I feel like some of your old hobbies either don't interest you anymore or you took a step aside from them because of various situations in your life that caused you to do that, that you might reconsider looking at or finding something new. I know you're tired and that you're a bit overdone in general by life, but I feel like one thing you need is a spark. You need some passion. You need something to get excited about, And so I know it used to be essential oils for you, and I don't know if that's necessarily still the case anymore, or it's only part of the case these days, or whatever. But I feel like you need something new to light your fire. So it is my recommendation that you find something interesting to research, to work on, to learn, so on and so forth. Okay, Robin, it is her birthday today. Happy birthday, dear Robin. And yes, we will give you a birthday message for sure. It was a sad sight this morning looking at my crows out in the feeder, ankle deep in snow, eating their stuff and squawking. They're pissed off. They are sitting in the trees squawking and complaining, and who could blame them? I'm joining them but from inside the house. Okay. All right, Robin. I pulled 3 cards. Thought we'd just do now, a little future forward, and a little future forward beyond that. So right now the card is warning. I feel like this has to do with some kind of professional advice that you're receiving, and that if you are receiving advice that doesn't resonate with you, that you seek out a second opinion. I think this calls for you to be a little bit more assertive than you typically like to be. That empath in you really doesn't like to hurt anybody's feelings or, get weird on anything. Get weird. I feel like this is a time where it's totally okay. If you get advice that works for you, that seems like it's the right thing, go with it. That's cool. But if it doesn't, if something isn't sitting quite right with you, please, 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 my friend, get a second opinion. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay? All right. Okay, a little further down the road, the message is self interest. Taking care of you, insisting on good care for you, and standing up for yourself. And I feel like this comes up, in the next 2 or 3 months, where you find yourself really needing to kind of put your foot down, make decisions that serve you, and not worry too much about what other people are needing or even other people's, I hate to say feelings again, but I feel like it's true, that you really have to worry about your feelings right now and your well-being above anybody else's so that you can worry about other people. But for now, it's really about what you need. But then, moving a little bit later in the summer, the card is nature. That's a beautiful card. And if you can see, there's a whole murder of crows in the background, lots of friends there, right? I feel like a little later in the summer, we see that need to stand up for yourself, that kind of out of your comfort zone energy shift. And we see you just in a space where you have time and space to connect with nature, to slow down, to enjoy the summer, and also to spend some time with others that can help lift you up. So it's coming. But until then, really, don't you hesitate to stand up for yourself. If I have to come down there, you know how it is. I can be sassy. And you guys, if you had ever met my mom's mom, you would know I have the sass in me. Lynn has an interview today at 2. This morning she was dismissed from an opportunity, but I always say rejection is God's protection for sure. Lynn, I'm just going to send you a lot of good energy around that 2 o'clock interview, that the right thing comes through for you. I know that you are needing something and needing something soon. So I'm going to hold space with you that if this job is the right thing, that it clicks for you and that it works out really well. Okay, Maureen would love a message as to our yellow lab Ivy injured her knee, the opposite one that 3 years ago had surgery. She's scheduled for a ligament repair on April 4th. Now she's no longer limping. Will surgery be necessary? As I will be calling the vet ortho. Surgery is 6K. She's 6 years old. Boy, I would lean in on that, Maureen, and really ask. And then you may consider a second opinion too. Um, I've had multiple clients the last few years who have been told that they had an animal companion that needed a very expensive surgery and then sought out a second opinion to discover that they really did not. I'm not saying Ivy doesn't. I know you'll do it for her if she needs it. But it does feel like maybe this is a good time to ask some questions about that. Maybe put the brakes on a little bit and definitely get a second opinion, even if you're just sending her x rays over to someone else to view them, just to be sure. I feel like you're very wise to put the brakes on here and ask a few questions before you move forward. But sending a lot of love to Ivy and to you guys. Darn it, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's see. JR could use a reading. Let's see. Well, actually, let's pull you a card too. Okay. Oh, I didn't shuffle these. What am I doing? I still have one foot in true crime, as you can imagine. I didn't even tell you guys what happened. 2 weeks ago, when I was in Arizona, we got an email from the Chris Cuomo show on News Nation, asking if we would come and be guests and talk about the Lori Vallow case. But because I was in Arizona, the logistics just didn't work out and it didn't work out. But it could in the future, maybe, or maybe a different opportunity, or maybe none, whatever. My mind is wide open. But anyway, it definitely created some major excitement for a few minutes. I'm in Arizona and I'm like, my God, I've got to go buy a shirt. I need a haircut. What am I doing? Then it crashed. But that's fine. It's okay. Not all things are meant to work out. But yeah, it was a few about an hour of like kind of mass excitement and panic and just every energy you can imagine and emotion, and then it didn't work out. But again, it just, I'm guessing, wasn't meant to at that moment, but we'll see what happens. Isn't that wild? All righty. JR, I pulled you two cards. The first card is community, which I think is exactly what you're doing right here and now. You know, over here hanging out with some like minded friends, getting some support. I know that you're working really hard right now on taking good care of yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And I think that this is an opportunity or a reminder to dip your toe into community that works for you. It's also a reminder to not dip your toe in community that doesn't. Stay out of toxic places, even if somebody else is requiring that of you. Stay out of toxic places. You don't need that. All right. The other card is communication. So when this card comes up, it always comes up for me as a bit of admonition to communicate well and expect good communication. When the communication card comes up to me, I think a lot of times it means stop texting and make a phone call, because communication means that you need better, more concise communication. It also sometimes is a warning that there could be some interruptions in communication. So address communication in a really clear, positive, open way. And if you receive things that you don't understand, ask for clarification. Don't make assumptions. Alrighty. If we don't get on to our bibliomancy from Kathleen, we won't get to. So we got to do it. Of course, this is from her We Are Here For You book. These are messages that she channeled from the archangels and other light beings. So we are now channeling messages from them and her. So I always just open the book, flip it open, and whatever page we land on is our message. Merlin. Today is a divine magic day. I come to assist you in recreating divine magic. I will teach you ways to create and to use divine magic for yourself and others. Know that I will only teach those who choose to use it for good. I realize that you are all saying, this is the only thing I am interested in using it for. However, when you get totally wrapped up in the reality that you have created, you may occasionally wish to use it against someone or some situation. Do not allow the temptation to come into fruition. Divine magic is very powerful and one of the powers that lie within you. Know that all you need to do to learn about divine magic is to go within and be open when you ask for the information about divine magic. If you doubt that this is the only thing you need to do, call on me and I will assist you. Learn, and I will insist that you open your third eye to begin to work with the information that I send. I expect that you are ready and willing to do the work. Do not look at it as work. Look at it as furthering your enlightenment and growing in your knowledge of your connection with the All. I will work with you to open your mind to the gifts which you already possess. I will assist you in deciphering information that will appear as thoughts or ideas out of nowhere. I am sure that each of you is capable of using divine magic in very powerful ways. I am pleased to offer my assistance and teachings. Know that you each deserve to awaken to this information. Know that I already say that you are ready to receive it. Trust that the information is within you, waiting to be discovered. You are all powerful light workers and powerful leaders. Open yourselves to the opportunity to learn about a powerful tool in your makeup. I am here, awaiting your call. Let me lead you to a wonderful experience and a gift which can be used to clear away many illusions that keep you tied to situations that are unpleasant, depressing, or painful. I send you love, light, and the wondrous information that you are all connected. Live in the joy that is your birthright. And that is from the Merlin from Kathleen's book. Well, guys, we've done it. We have definitely talked down to the end of the show. I want to thank you for being here. I want to remind you that I am a professional psychic advisor over at 12listen.com. You can find me there every single day doing healings, readings, animal communication, and so much more. So come see me if I can help you. I always will. Well, I'll be back next week, same place, same time. This has been yet another production of The Katie Weaver Show here on 12 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.